Hello, this is Black Country Blokes chewing the fat.
Listen.
I've been hearing a lot lately about men don't talk, but in my experience, men do talk, just people aren't listening. So it's going to be me and a group of blokes discussing our struggles and victories through life. Warning, there may be some bad language, so apologies to all the moms, especially my own. Let's get going.
Listen.
Vignette is the Black Country Blokes chewing the fat with me, Kev Dillon, Lee Cadman, Aaron Dew. And our special guest today is Charles Dell. Charles has boxed for a long time for Droitwich and now he's coaching there. I believe you boxed for England, didn't you, Charles?
Yeah, I did.
And now he's doing this brilliant project called, sorry about the echo then, I started a new project called Boxing Positive. But before we get into that, let's just tell us a little bit about you, Charles. Tell us about your boxing and how you got involved in boxing.
Yeah. So I was 14 when I first started boxing. I was pretty sort of low on confidence kid. Not really into the general sports. I was always always been interested in strength training, even from a young lad. But then, discovered boxing at 14. I think, like a lot of people, just fell in love with the sport. Totally, aligned with everything I was interested in. I was obviously, I loved all the training. Became, I think, boxers have to be, became obsessed with the sport, and very quickly sort of progressed in it, just purely down to the discipline and dedication. Actually, started boxing for England a few years after. I won the junior ABAs, and then went on to win the Three Nations. And I had a few matches with Ricky Summers as well. I think he was one of the Lions boxers, and I think he was my Achilles heel for some time. He was very, very awkward and very, very good long range boxer. I was a long range boxer myself, and I think came up against someone else that enjoyed boxing at long range and who had longer arms than me. So
did you have two bouts with him? They were great bouts, weren't they?
Four in the end.
Four, was
I
it?
two at the Copthorne on his home show, and then we had two wins each. So it was good. We left it a draw, and then obviously I'm proud to have said that I boxed him now, because obviously he went on to be a pro, and he's still boxing professional now. So I'm. He's another claim to fame, and I also was sparring partner for Tony Bellew and Nathan Cleverley as well for their bouts when they were rivals. So that was in 2010. So obviously I got the best of them, because Bellew had heard I'd been sparring Cleverley, so he wanted to have a go at me, and I was I don't think it was very good for my brain, but I must have had balls of steel at 19 driving up to spar there. Wouldn't do it now. But I just obviously loved the sport. It was really it gave me a lot. The biggest thing for me was the confidence it gave me as a kid. I felt if I can get in a boxing ring, I can do anything. So I think everything dramatically improved in other areas of my life, like my ability to engage in the things I wasn't interested in. At school, my behaviour improved, and so you hear it a lot, don't you, with young people, the benefits. And I guess that's where the seed was originally planted for me. And when I was boxing for England, I was also helping out Chris at pupil referral units and doing coaching at schools, and obviously seeing how the discipline and again confidence building that the non-contact boxing was giving to these other kids was sort of showing me, actually this could. I guess I didn't think of it straight away at the time, but as the years went on, I originally had that idea in 2010 where I thought of taking it into a healthcare setting. And obviously, us as boxers, we sort of understand it, that you don't see any boxer get into a boxing ring and say, "I'm going to lose this." They're all full of confidence. And I thought, well, why don't we could align that to people that are struggling clinically, like maybe with mental health problems, or even to overcome physical problems or brain injury, and be used in a rehab setting. So instilling that self-belief and confidence whilst they're going into recovery from illness and disability. I guess that's where it originated. But I knew I wouldn't be able to just walk into a hospital and start coaching, and that's where I was mid-20s. I went back into education, much to my parents' surprise, actually going back into studying. But yeah, no, I studied to become an occupational therapist.
Sorry, Charlie, you broke up then, bro. We've just lost a bit of internet connection. Is everyone else still there?
I can hear you, Kev, but I think we've lost.
I think we lost him.
Yeah.
Hopefully, he can sign back in. As we all know, these internet problems in 2021 is unbelievable. But hopefully, he'll sign back in. But Charles, I mean, what he's doing, just in case we can't get him back, it's remarkable what he's doing. This boxing positive, and he's working with people who have got Parkinson's disease and different brain injuries, as he was just saying. And hopefully he'll sign back on in a few minutes. But the hurdles that we as coaches, when we're going to schools and when we're going to work with youth offenders, is so awful, because everyone sees it as you're going to get these kids, you're going to put them in the ring, and you're going to let them beat each other up. But it's the furthest thing from the truth. What we're doing within amateur boxing is teaching them skills. Yes, learn how to punch, but encouraging them not to fight. And there's a massive difference, as we all know, isn't there? A massive difference between boxing and having a street fight.
Yeah, it trains you to take control of your emotions. And if you can control your emotions in the ring, you can control your emotions pretty much everywhere.
Well, I think that's what Charles was saying. He was saying, like, and so many boxers have learned, when they've had to go to Liverpool or Birmingham or whatever, they go, if I can get in that ring and fight someone, what's the job interview? You know, when you've got everyone there and cheering and giving you their advice, and if you can do that,
yeah,
you know, the world's your oyster. Aaron, I mean, what's your opinions on it, bro?
Sorry, got to say, sorry, Aaron, before you come in, Stephen Hobbs has just put it's conditioning for the mind. I think that is spot on.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Just to add to what Stephen said, actually, I think alongside discipline, which you've touched on, and the respect, I think you learn a lot of respect. Anyone who steps in the ring, be that sparring or even into a gym, you definitely learn that. But I think the coming out your comfort zone, I think that helps condition your mind. So you're always being pushed in the, you know, when even through like training or doing burpees or going for runs and stuff, there's always that element of pushing yourself. And obviously, it's a solo game when you're in the ring, but as a club, you're all in it together. So when you're spurring each other on, I always feel like that's what I personally enjoyed about boxing, because you'd go home thinking, I've just got a little bit better here. And it's amazing when you can beat your mind, convince your mind effectively. And it brings out so much confidence. I think probably before I ever started boxing, you'd have the odd street scrap or whatever it was. And it frightened me. But the moment I did boxing, I was actually never afraid to ever get into altercations or anything. But actually, I fought a lot less because of that discipline as well. So it's a brilliant two-way thing. I think more schools should definitely endorse it. I think we've got Charles back anyway.
Yeah, there you go.
Hey, it's technology, Charles. It happens more than you believe, mate. So don't worry about it.
Going into the bedroom.
That where magic happens.
Well, I don't know about that.
But I was just saying, like, I was just doing a bit of a summary about what you were doing, but I'll let you explain it more. But we were saying about, like, you just gone back into education.
That's right. Yeah. So, I went into in order to get boxing, non-contact boxing, into that was the long-term vision, to get boxing into healthcare, and to try and use it for a range of clinical conditions. So yeah, basically went to Coventry University, qualified as an occupational therapist, and then set up Box Positive, and that was 3 years ago. And then since have worked in neurology, so worked in brain injury and mental health settings within hospitals settings, and then slowly been building up Box Positive on the side. And then just before Christmas, I stopped working in neuropsychiatry to fully focus on Box Positive, because there's really a desperate need out there with the Parkinson's population. And more and more people are getting in touch, especially being in lockdown. People with Parkinson's are, it's the last thing really that they need, because the less movement that people have, that's what sort of Parkinson's wants. It wants people to stay still so that it can sort of take a hold of you. And obviously, the more movement that you do with a condition like Parkinson's, the more you can combat the symptoms. And yeah, so it was while studying, I discovered Parkinson's, and that it's boxing's being used in America. Obviously, again, non-contact boxing is being used to counteract symptoms, and it's got really big over there. So yeah, I thought, well, I've got to try and get something started over here. And I met Lisa, who runs Counterpunch Parkinson's in New Zealand, and she qualified me as the first UK qualified Counterpunch Parkinson's coach. And then yeah, just started seeing as many people as I could with the condition, and started getting some real good results. And there's lots of sort of before and after videos. You can have a look on the Twitter page, and you can see, through engagement in boxing and Parkinson's specific exercises, we've had some like dramatic improvements in people's function, their confidence, and their ability to do everyday tasks. So yeah, it's been brilliant.
Two things
can
on
I-
that. Sorry, Lee, you go.
Can I ask if so is the training you do more tailor made to the individual person, or can a lot of it, because me being an ex-boxer under Kev, you skip in your bags and your pads. It was kind of, you knew where you were going, what you're doing, or is it more okay? We're going to work on this and do that, and is there exercises that help across the board, or is it just on an individual basis?
Definitely, I think it's dependent on, I guess, where the person's at in their condition. So if they're young onset person with Parkinson's, I've got a few people that we've diagnosed as early as in their 20s. People where the condition hasn't yet affected them so bad, where there's shuffling with their problems with walking. They're likely to be able to do everything. You or me would be able to do. Obviously, just a bit of a tailored approach, so it wouldn't just jump in at the deep end. And yeah, you would really know by assessing how they were on the first session and tailoring it to their ability level. But yeah, I suppose it's dependent on their level of functioning. And the great thing was, before the lockdown, I was working with England Boxing, and we started delivering workshops, and it started at the south of the country. I had one right at the bottom, and then we went up to London, and we did 2 workshops, and there was a fair few coaches that came to that. And the idea was, that it was going to be, boxing clubs being offered. People with Parkinson's all over could contact their boxing club, and that coach would be qualified and able to understand, a bit about the condition and how to tailor boxing coaching to that person. So that's essentially the vision for Box Positive. It's to qualify more Box Positive coaches, so that coaches feel confident to working with people with Parkinson's. Because for me, I feel like there's clubs all over the country that are shut in the day, that are not being used. Whereas there's so many people out there with Parkinson's that are in desperate need, I think, of this service, and they've all got a boxing gym on their doorstep. I think we've got so many clubs here, haven't we, in this country, more so probably than in America, or per square mile, I'd say we've got loads here. So and it would be a great way to promote the sport as well. So yeah, that's the long-term vision.
I mean, my granddad had, my dad's dad, Granddad Bernard, had Parkinson's all my life, and I remember him just having Parkinson's. But before he got it, he was a professional goalkeeper. But I only remember seeing him when he was a very poorly man, and so I've seen what Parkinson's can do to you. So anything that I think that we can help people, and we've got to realise nothing. It's not like you can click your fingers and you can be better. But if we can slow down the process and get people hitting a bag, and it's so frustrating for them as life is. How therapeutic is hitting something?
Absolutely, and I think that's the key. Like, we all now know that exercise, and there's certain components of exercise that are good for the condition, but the unique thing about boxing is, people feel like they've got that control is being taken away from them with Parkinson's. They're feeling like they don't have control anymore, and then the moment they stick those gloves on, they feel like a boxer then, and it momentarily they totally forget about their condition. And like you say, it's absolutely, it's very empowering for someone to momentarily forget about it, but then over time, that strength they're getting in the sessions, they actually take that beyond the club, and they walk out, their heads almost can't fit out the door because they're feeling so much more confident, and it gives them that confidence to tackle everyday challenges. Guys have said to me that cutting up food has been easier, turning in bed has become easier, and all those exercises in boxing, like turning for those hooks, the fast footwork, working that dynamic balance, pretty much everything about a boxing routine it ticks all of the boxes for what is the most effective exercise for someone with Parkinson's. So it's essentially everything Parkinson's isn't. A good boxer is, it does all those fast movements, working those fast twitch muscle fibers, the agility. So yeah, for me, it's great physically, but like you said, Kev, it's ultimately the most empowering form of exercise that someone could do with the condition.
Unfortunately, what we have, and I know you're going through it as well, is the higher ups, the doctors, or not all doctors, I'm not saying everyone's like this, but the doctors, MPs, and the people who could push this forward, they see amateur boxing and professional boxing of one of the same. But then we're not. We're two different sports. It looks the same, but there's very different rules and regulations. But then what you're doing, like when you work with youth offenders or someone with a disability, you're tailoring it down again. So we're getting the skills and we're getting exercises, but we're not having the punches and the injuries, but we're giving them all the same things. So they are physically fit, they're mentally better, they're rejuvenated, but there isn't the repercussion of maybe getting hit. But unfortunately, a lot of these people don't walk into a boxing gym where they see a kid or a man or a woman who will never box, but they're a massive part of the team. Or I guarantee in your gym, in every gym around here, we've got every colour and creed, different sizes, different weights, but they are Droitwich, they are the Lions, they are whatever club you are. Because a lot of us give people that family they've never had, even if they don't step into the ring and box.
Definitely, yeah. It's a huge thing. The community as well, isn't it? Coming into a club and being supported. And I suppose thinking back to the people with the Parkinson's, with the condition, they come to the boxing club, and maybe for the first time they're with other people with the same condition, and they feel like they've got a tribe of people that are all fighting this condition together. And it's pretty amazing. You know, people that have said to me when they're on their own, "Oh no, I'm not going to a club where there's going to be other people," and then they get there and they realise actually, yeah, you know, and that's boxing. That is, it's the power of boxing and all being together. You know, it's it's something I think, you know, you can't describe it, isn't it? But there's something quite special about boxing that you wouldn't get with other sports.
And I suppose because Lee talks about this when 'cause he's got a disabled daughter, when he's talked to another parent with disabled, you have that kind of, I can feel your pain. So if I've got Parkinson's, or we've all got Parkinson's, you might be embarrassed to walk in, but then you realise he's got the dyskinesia or he's got the shuffles. Then you go, it ain't so bad. I haven't got to be embarrassed because Lee understands or Charles understands. So you're also giving them a support bubble, aren't you?
Absolutely, yeah. And what I think as well, and why I want to get boxing coaches qualified and working with people with Parkinson's, is because I feel boxing coaches have got such a you know, incredible way of taking like a strength-based approach and looking at the positives. You know, if you've got the skill of getting a you know, a young lad come back to the corner, and you've got to take him from losing a fight, you've got to turn that head around to get him into a positive state of mind. The amount of skill that goes into that isn't recognised, I don't think, and it's that same ethos you have to use, I think, in a clinical setting, working with someone with Parkinson's, getting them to recognise that they can do things when they've been told, you know, they can't. You know, there's no cure for Parkinson's. You know, they've got all these negatives in their heads. It's those same skills, and I think the boxing coaches has got that unique quality. I feel that would be so beneficial, not just for Parkinson's, but working with any clinical condition. So, you know, whether it be mental health problems, could be, you know, for someone undergoing treatment for, you know, cancer rehabilitation, could be rehab following following a brain injury. I feel like, yeah, there's so many avenues that coaches would be so, you know, useful.
Can I just say, sorry, we had Stephen Hobbs who's messaging, and he's basically just asked that question: whether how else can box positive help other people besides Parkinson's? So thank you for writing in your question, and I hope that's answered it for you, Stephen.
I mean, it's been proven. I've been talking to experts and they say boxing helps with PTSD, boxing helps with anxiety, boxing. But the problem is people, the professionals, see it in a certain way. But hopefully, by doing what you're doing with this, and I think it's all about getting the results. If we can get more positive results by doing it, and the only way we're going to get more positive results by doing it is by getting more people on side doing it. As exactly what you're doing. So when you do your course, I know me and Lee will come and do it, won't we?
Definitely.
Yeah, without doubt. Yeah.
Aaron, is there anything you want to say to Charles?
Nothing really specifically. I was just interested in how you're looking to scale it. And I know, Charles, you said that you want to try and get other boxing coaches involved. I was just doing a bit of Googling and having a look because I've worked with occupational therapists myself in one of my previous careers as a social worker. So in order to kind of scale this out and get it out there, do you need occupational therapists on board, or is it something that you have sort of like a blueprint that you can teach boxing coaches, for example, to help people with Parkinson's? How are we looking to kind of scale it up? Because I think it's a fantastic thing that you're doing. And I think, like you said, the gyms are dead in the day. They're not making use of them. You're making use of them, 6 hours a week at best, Monday, Wednesday, Fridays, or then probably Tuesday and Thursdays as well. But that's all I was asking, really.
Yeah, I think the vision would be for, I mean, for getting the healthcare professionals working collaboratively with boxing coaches. So, it would be nice to have, you know, the programs running nationally and linking up with and I guess that England Boxing were doing the workshops, funding that for the coaches to come to in each region, and then I guess those coaches would then work with the healthcare professionals that would be doing, you know, the qualification as well. Because I feel, you know, there's more to teach a healthcare professional actually in terms of boxing. So I'd quite like it to sort of be a case of, you know, the boxing coaches come to these workshops and then sort of help in the qualification stage. So you'd sort of have both. You'd have a half and half, like boxing coaches and healthcare professionals at the qualification, and both could teach. So the healthcare professionals could teach the clinical side to the coaches, and then the coaches can teach obviously all the boxing maneuvers and skills to the healthcare professionals. So, you know, things were moving before the lockdown. We had the first course booked, but you know, it's still going to get there. We just got to, I guess, wait. But,
Absolutely.
yeah.
I think that's a great point that you said, that the health professionals need to be educated somewhat in relation to boxing as well. And I say that because I worked in the adult sector for social work for about 6 months on a placement. And we had an elderly gentleman. He was very active, really nice guy. And he must have been a boxer or something, or he just loves throwing his hands around. And when I used to sit with my managers and kind of, we're looking at almost what can we help him with, like what activities can we send him out with. And at that particular point in Shropshire, I was saying, I think it'd be great to do boxing. Obviously, I had a bit of experience with boxing myself. And I was thinking in terms of like balance, coordination, building strength, you know, fast twitch muscle fibers and all of that stuff, I thought it'd be great. But their understanding at that point was kind of like, oh, no chance are we going to take the elderly into, I mean, he never had Parkinson's, but it was like, we're not going to put him into that arena environment. But I'm thinking, I'm not saying he has to go and fight Anthony Joshua. I'm saying he just needs to learn the basics of it. And I think you're right. It needs to be a two-way street.
Yeah, it's and I guess for you that I've been in that situation a number of times, and it is very, very frustrating, because I think people they hear the word boxing and they think straight away, like Kev was saying, of professional boxing. They think of the fights that were on TV last week and the two mouthing off at each other after the fight, and it's a shame. It's a real shame, because you know there's so much power there clinically that it can give to people. And also, you know, that old guy that you know might have actually been a lot stronger than people were giving him credit
Absolutely.
to. You know,
he definitely was.
Yeah, and you know that's the other thing. People come to these sessions, they throw a punch on the bag, or they do you know, a press up, and they're surprised at their own abilities. So not only can they surprise themselves and build their own confidence, but it changes other people's perceptions as well. It shows people what they are capable of doing. So yeah, I think the tide's turning, hopefully, but yeah, I've been really in that situation since starting going into healthcare, and I've been quite sort of amazed by the stigma. And I wasn't aware of it, because I was so involved in boxing. I wasn't, you know, I just saw all the great things about it. I didn't really look at how, you know, other people's perception of it is. But you know, it's nice now being able to understand what other people's views are, and actually talking to them on a level and trying to get them, you know, changing their perception even. It's good. So, but yeah, it's nice to have, you know, other people on board, and I feel like I'm, you know, battling out there on my own sometimes. You know, the doctors and all sorts, but like you said, Kev, there are doctors that are now, you know, referring to box positive, which is really, you know, good.
And that's a tribute to yourself, isn't it? We need that pat on the back to realise we are doing something, because sometimes when you know you're doing well and you just keep getting pushed back, it's soul destroying. But you've got to have that boxer's mentality and just keep getting off your stool and seeing the next round through.
Definitely, yeah. It's the people that I see that give me the motivation and courage to keep going, and you know, the positive results that we're getting. You know, that's essentially what drives me. And I've been to talk to a room full of doctors and been quite intimidated. And then once they actually see the clinical reasoning that's gone into why it's so beneficial, they're like, oh, hold on a sec. why haven't we been doing this for ages? We need to be referring more people to gyms. And how many boxing gyms are there? They need to be signing them up.
Is there, Charles? I kind of work within that sector as well with disability equipment. Is there a lot of clinical trials supporting your evidence at the moment and what you're seeing?
Yes, so there's a few research studies that are specifically looking at boxing for Parkinson's, where there's been some improved outcome measures, and there's some results for those. I can send you some of the studies if you want after this.
Yeah, that'd be fascinating. Thank you.
The latest study I think was done in 2019. But yeah, all of the other studies that have been done have been around exercises that are dual tasking, so exercises that involve multitasking, things that are cognitively complex, like balance training, and I've sort of looked at all of these and I've thought, well, actually all of these exercises in these programs that have been researched and proven as beneficial, all of these exercises fit well within a boxer's routine. So actually, yeah, there's hundreds of studies out there where, and also the added benefit, the unique benefit of the boxing as well, is the upping the engagement level of the person that is engaging in, a rehab exercise program. It's not very motivating. Sometimes it's not very interesting just standing with one foot in front of the other and try and hold it there. Whereas, if you've got someone like Kev said, if you've got someone stick a boxing glove on them, that's the ultimate empowering exercise intervention, isn't it? And I think that it's ways of motivating people that are perhaps they have that apathy or depression that also comes with chronic illness. You need to find a way to motivate them, and unfortunately throwing your arms out to the side, and it's not going to engage some people. Whereas stick a boxing glove on them and get them to punch a pad, actually that's more engaging. So you can create activities within a boxing program that are clinically reasoned to be beneficial. There's lots of evidence for it. Yeah.
Is it mainly men, or have you got men and women?
Yeah. So I suppose that's been the benefit of one of the benefits of lockdown is the Zoom sessions seem to be quite appealing. I've had quite a few one-to-one Zooms with ladies recently, and actually, yeah, we've got quite a few ladies, but it's predominantly guys. There's more men that enjoy coming to Box Positive. I could argue that Parkinson's affects more men than women, but it's not that. It's just I think it appeals more to the guys, but we are getting more.
I think as well, Charles, it could be a bit of the stigma of the boxing club as well, kicking in there, that it's a macho environment, that maybe women don't feel welcome, but just to say that every boxing club I've ever been to and travelled to, and every show, women are more than welcome to come in there. And not only that, they really enjoy it. They really enjoy being part of that session.
Yeah, definitely.
And it could even be because of the Parkinson's. I know you said late 20s, but usually Parkinson's affects people in a later life. So maybe the older ladies don't particularly want to do it. But, my mum has got Parkinson's, but God bless her, she's always heard the ladies' classes, giving her all. And, and it's, you're not training to box. You're training to get fit, let out some steam, and enjoy yourself. You're not going to be fighting Charles then at the Cop Fawn in March.
Right. I've got nightmares of that place now.
But isn't it funny, bruv, how you meet people in the boxing world, like from 100 years ago, and you remember each other. And this is why I love having you on and from different clubs, because it's a big boxing family, isn't it? you know,
Absolutely, yeah.
and I think, oh, the Lions have got it out for Droitwich, or they've got it out to the Priory, or they've got it out to them. And you're going, look, if we're boxing each other, we want to win. But more we can get clubs into club sparring, then when we're at a tournament, you go, bloody hell, that's Charles down the club. And you all start cheering for him. Or once you get past the Midlands, and then it's gone from the Lions and Droitwich to we're the Midlands. And then we get to the Nationals, now we're England. You know, and it's the community. And I think this has shown what a great community we've got in the boxing world.
Absolutely, yeah. And Ricky was hugely helpful for me both as a opponent, but as a sparring partner as well. It was really good. I used to come over to Lions, and obviously your dad as well. It was great. I had a fair few sessions there, and Alan Bray as well when I was younger.
Yeah.
He used to help out a lot. He cornered me actually in my British University's championship final. I won that, and he told me, so we're getting on to boxing now. No, I won't shut up now. But yeah, he told me something really useful in the corner to the after the second round. He said, just one little thing. He said, angles. Start using angles, and that was it. Then started sticking some angles in, stepping to the side of the opponent who was coming in a straight line, and that was it. Totally. Obliterated him. And it was just that little thing of being told, that little bit of information. I shouldn't say obliterated. I'm trying to promote boxing as non-violent.
But the truth of the matter is, a contest is you're out there to box. We can't sugarcoat what a bout is, because it is going to battle. But the difference is between amateur boxing, professional boxing. A, we're not getting paid. B, your cornerman loves you. So if you're getting hurt, you're going to be told. You've got referees, you've got judges. Amateur boxing, like Olympic boxing, Commonwealth boxing, is the art of boxing. Like when money gets involved in anything, the water starts to get more murky. But boxing, when you're in there, it's not a tickling contest. But what we are doing, what you're doing with Box Positive, and what we do with the special needs and everything, that is learning the skills without that contact. Because you've got to have a brain cell, haven't you? You can't think, oh, he's got Parkinson's, oh, go on, give him 10 rounds. And you're thinking, bloody hell. And because we're doing it, we are aware of the risks. And we wouldn't dream of putting them through those risks. It's got to be enjoyable.
To be fair, the guys with Parkinson's, they do enjoy getting in the ring with me when I don't throw anything back.
That's what it's fun, though, right?
Yeah, suddenly their Parkinson's goes out the window. They let those bombs go then. But yeah, it's I think like I said, the unique thing and why it's so engaging, the Box Positive program is because it's got that element of punching, fighting back against this condition and regaining some control. And yeah, if only, I think, I'm singing to the choir here when I'm doing the workshops as well. If only people within the clinical settings would understand how powerful boxing is and what it actually does, the positives of it, then it would be a different story. And I think it would be used more widely within hospital settings. But that's my vision, that's my goal, and I think it's everyone else's goal, isn't it? And I think we are getting there. So yeah.
Well, we're if you get the post up, Lee, we're doing our support group tomorrow night, as we're doing it every Wednesday, 7 p.m. till 9 p.m. Where we'll be having a 2-hour chat. After the first hour, go and have a coffee or whatever, stretch your legs, and then we'll carry on the talking. It's not all doom and gloom. I mean, last couple of weeks, talk about serious stuff, but we have a blooming good laugh as well. Laugh, and it's just blokes getting together. Then hopefully, well, as soon as we're allowed, hopefully the 14th of April, but I won't make a promise, we will be able to do the half an hour tour, go and train for 45 minutes ish, warm down and finish on a talk. Because as Charlie said, it's getting your frustrations out. Because I keep saying, some days you'll get there and go, how's your week been, Kev? Oh, my wife's doing me head in. You hit the bag for a bit and go, you know what, it's not Kate. I'm struggling. And then having that endorphins from the training and having that brotherhood around you to talk and not having the fear of being judged. So if you'd like to attend to it, email us at Lee.
So email us at blackcountryblokes@gmail.com. We are limited to 15 spaces at the moment because of COVID, but we are going ahead every Wednesday. And as Kev said, it can be serious chat, it can be a light-hearted chat, but I guarantee you'll come out of there and you'll feel a lot lighter and you'd have had a laugh at some point.
So I think that's what we've all missed. You know, human beings being tribal animals, we've missed being around other people. And as much as you love your partner, sometimes they're the most difficult person to talk to. So come, have a vent, have a laugh, and, you know, I'll even give you a coffee. How about that? But Charles, thank you ever so much for coming on, bruv. I'm just going to have a little ramble about Thursday. But while I'm talking, have a think. Have a think of a quote or a saying that's helped you get through life with your boxing. And also, how can people get in touch with you? In fact, answer how people can get in touch with you first.
Okay. Yeah, people can email me, charlesdelve@boxpositive.co.uk, or just have a look at either the Facebook page or Twitter. I need to get some videos on YouTube. Conscious of that. I spent all afternoon last week, Friday, and it was didn't get a successful one. But yeah, and there you go. My email, and you'll find on my website as well my phone number.
What's your website? Is it Box Positive?
That's it. Yeah, boxpositive.co.uk. Yeah,
brilliant. So Thursday we're just having just the four blokes chewing the fat. Craig's going to get his babby. We've written some suggestions down. Craig's going to get his babby to pull one over the hat. So whatever comes out tomorrow, we'll be chatting about it on Thursday. And as always, if anyone's got any topics you'd like us to talk about, please write them in. You know, because we're up for talking about anything. We're not experts, but we are experienced in most stuff. So, Charles, any sayings or quotes that's helped you get through life?
I used to say I will win because it's not I'm going to, but that was before a fight, and it's just wills you to. That was before a boxing match, but you can just apply it to any setting. I couldn't think of something. I will win. There you go.
Well, anything. Guys, until we talk to each other next time, take care of yourselves and each other.
Thank you very much, Kev.
Pleasure.
Thanks.
Listen.
And that's a wrap for another show. But if there are any comments or messages that you would like us to read out for our next podcast, please be in touch. There are also lots of different organisations at the bottom of this page, and hopefully they can help you or someone you care about. Please share this to spread the word. Until we talk next time, ta-ra a bit.
Listen.